Joining us on the Squawk Newsline to try to help us with this, someone who's thought about declaring China a currency manipulator before, but never went through with it. Former Fed Governor Sarah Bloom Raskin. She was also Deputy Treasury Secretary in the Obama administration. Good morning to you. I want to talk about the currency manipulator decision, because I know it's something that over time you have thought a lot about.
That's exactly right, yes. So the designation that was made yesterday by Treasury was a designation that had not been made for quite a while. This is a designation that is usually done very deliberately, with a lot of care, and
You're
done
suggesting
on
that it wasn't done with care this morning or yesterday?
Sorry?
You're suggesting it wasn't done with care yesterday?
Well, it certainly wasn't done by schedule. It's usually done in a scheduled way. There was legislation put in place in 1988 which said that the U.S. Treasury is required to analyze on an annual basis the exchange rate policies of foreign countries. And so since 1988, it's been the Treasury's role to do this. Then in 2015, another piece of law came in place which said the Treasury has to publish semi-annually a report, and in that report it makes public its decisions regarding what it believes those exchange rate policies amount to, whether or not there are currency manipulators
Sarah,
in our midst. Yes.
Given the IMF just under 3 weeks ago said that the yuan accurately reflects China's economic fundamentals, what do you think the game plan is for Treasury for doing this? I mean, do you think? We had Leland Miller on of the China International Beige Book, and he said he believed that it was to set up the Commerce Department to be able to say they devalue the yuan, it's basically a subsidy, and so we can respond using countervailing tariffs. Right.
Well, the law certainly suggests that those options are now in place. So, in other words, if in fact a country is deemed to be a currency manipulator by the Treasury Department, it does open up the possibility of particular sanctions, particular repercussions. So that was the intent of the law, and that's the intent of the designation process.
Sarah, does it dramatically increase the probability of sanctions or actions? Because it seems to me like you could almost argue it's a bit of a nothing burger. You have to get the IMF to agree. You have to work collaboratively. I mean, it feels like we could be in 2022 before there was significant action.
Right, and I think that that's actually deliberate. I think that the idea here is that there should be a disciplined approach around going to war, so to speak, on a currency basis. And so what the law does is, in effect, set up a process by which there have to be a series of discussions and particular analyses before real sanctions or consequences emerge. So I think that's all really built into or baked into the process of designation.
Sarah, what does this tell you about where Treasury Secretary Mnuchin is in this whole thing? As you point out, and I've done this on Fridays going back for many years now, they come out with this report twice a year is when they're supposed to be designating it. They moved up the process, and they, according to several analyses I've read, China doesn't even meet the criteria for a currency manipulator, either from the IMF or by the Treasury's own designation. What does this tell you about the role that Treasury Secretary Mnuchin is playing in this battle over tariffs?
Right. So he appears to be wanting to endorse and underscore and support the president's repeated calls for China being labeled a currency manipulator, because what Treasury is now doing is saying, okay, yes, you hear the president keep talking about currency manipulator, China's a currency manipulator. We are now going to say it is in fact the case. China is a currency manipulator. And so that is what the Treasury Department is now doing. They are enabling this, what has been heretofore mere labeling. They have now said, we're saying it's actually so.
Hey,
China is a currency manipulator.
Hey, Sarah, we got to run, but I have a very quick question, which was, were you surprised that it seemed like China backed down as quickly as they did, and does that mean we have more leverage than we thought?
Okay, no, that didn't surprise me at all. I think that China knows exactly what it's doing here. It is telling us that it knows that this tool that it has in terms of renminbi valuation, that it is able to move to, crack 7, and it can use this tool both as a shield and a sword. It knows exactly what it's doing, and it's not triggering any capital runs. This mechanism that China has is a mechanism that they're showing us they've got, and we need to understand how it works and understand that it is again both a shield and a sword.